Coronation Street's mysterious brooch clue has finally been explained as Summer Spellman suddenly emerges as the leading suspect in Theo Silverton's shocking murder case. A vital piece of evidence may have changed everything. In tonight's episode of Coronation Street, Kit Green identifies Summer Spellman as his latest prime suspect in the murder investigation surrounding Theo Silverton, and the breakthrough comes from a brooch that may hold the key to solving the entire case. While taking a short break from his police duties, Kit begins looking through photographs taken during Lisa and Carla Connor-Swain's wedding reception. As he studies the images more carefully, he suddenly notices an important detail that had previously gone unnoticed. Showing one particular photo to Lisa, Kit says, "She's wearing the brooch that was discovered in Todd's flat. I think we may have a brand new prime suspect." Lisa quickly agrees with his theory and pins the photograph onto the investigation evidence board. Moments later, viewers discover that the person wearing the mysterious brooch is actually Summer. Summer had been seen wearing the jewelry during Lisa and Carla's wedding celebration at the Underworld Factory event. For anyone who may have forgotten why the brooch matters so much, the item was first brought up during the episode that aired on Wednesday, 6th of May, when George Shuttleworth was questioned by detectives. During that earlier police interview, D.S. Connor-Swain explained, "For the official record, I'm showing Mr. Shuttleworth a photograph of a brooch recovered from the flat. The item is covered in blood, and DNA analysis is still pending. Have you ever seen this brooch before?" George responded firmly, "I've honestly never seen that brooch in my entire life. Since I've never laid eyes on it before, I've got absolutely no idea who it belongs to." Viewers already know that Summer had developed deep resentment and anger toward Theo before his death. But could she truly have gone as far as committing murder? Harriet Bibby, the actress who portrays Summer, recently opened up about the storyline and hinted that audiences may begin seeing a very different side of the character. She explained, "Over the years, viewers have mostly seen Summer as a sensible and level-headed person, although she definitely has moments where she reacts emotionally. Now that Billy is no longer around, and with Todd dealing with his own struggles, Summer has been forced to stand on her own feet and make difficult choices for herself." Harriet continued by saying, "I'm really excited for audiences to witness a darker and more unpredictable side to Summer, and for people to genuinely wonder whether she could actually be capable of something this extreme. I think there's a possible situation where Summer may have believed that either she was going to end up seriously hurt or perhaps even killed, or Theo would. When people are pushed into desperate situations like that, it becomes fascinating to see the lengths they might go to in order to survive. It's no secret that Theo could be extremely threatening. He even warned that he would bury Summer if she ever got in his way. Because of that, there may have been a moment where she truly felt it had become a case of either her or him. Elsewhere in tonight's dramatic episode, George accidentally knocks Summer's bag onto the floor and is left shocked after discovering a page from her personal journal. In the handwritten entry, Summer openly describes just how much hatred she felt toward Theo before his death. Megan Walsh appears to regain control over Will Driscoll in Coronation Street after managing to get back into his thoughts, but before long, she could be the one left completely blindsided. Will recently made the incredibly brave choice to report Megan Walsh to the police for sexually abusing him. Following his statement, Megan was arrested by officers and later formally charged. However, this week brings disturbing developments that leave Will deeply unsettled once again. Will decided to speak out after having an emotional conversation with Tim Metcalf, who revealed that he too had been exploited by an older woman when he was younger. After returning home, Will overheard his father, Ben Driscoll, sadly admitting that he believes the traumatic experience with Megan has permanently changed Will as a person. During a heartfelt private moment between the two, Ben comforted his son while Will finally broke down under the emotional weight of everything that had happened. In this week's episodes, The family's hopes of beginning to heal are quickly shattered when Ben receives an update from the police, informing him that Megan has now been released on bail. Ben carefully explains the situation to Will, but the news leaves him unable to feel safe or calm. Later, Will confides in Tim and admits that he now feels as though he is constantly watching over his shoulder, terrified that Megan could somehow return to his life. Next week, things become even more painful for Will when Sam Blakeman unexpectedly lashes out at him, cruelly calling him evil and saying that he wishes he were dead. What Will does not realize is that Sam himself is struggling with serious mental health difficulties, causing him to internalize the hurtful remarks. Soon afterwards, Will overhears an emotional conversation where Ben tearfully admits that he fears Megan has completely destroyed Will's future and ruined his life forever. Heartbroken by both Sam's harsh words and Ben's fears, Will climbs onto the scaffolding in the shop yard and begins drinking vodka alone, in a dangerous emotional spiral. Asha Allahan soon notices him and quickly sends a message to Maggie Driscoll asking for urgent help, while Hope Stape rushes into the pub to alert everyone nearby. As panic spreads through the street, Maggie climbs up the scaffolding to reach Will, while the rest of the Driscoll family anxiously watch the frightening situation unfold below. Amid all the confusion and chaos, none of them realize that Megan herself is secretly observing everything from a distance. Earlier in the week, Hope tells Will that she saw him together with Megan and insists that he should tell Ben the truth about everything. Just as Will reaches for his coat, a piece of paper suddenly falls from one of the pockets. When he picks it up and reads it, Will is shocked to discover that the note contains Megan's brand new mobile phone number. Exactly what Will chooses to do with this new information remains unclear for now. However, there is a strong possibility that Megan could soon receive a nasty surprise of her own, especially as signs begin to emerge that Will may be developing a close connection with Hope. Ruby later tells Fizz and Tyrone Dobbs that Hope clearly has feelings for Will and that the pair are planning to study together. Fizz warns Hope to stay away from the situation and avoid getting emotionally involved, but staying true to Hope's rebellious personality, she completely ignores the advice. By the end of the week, Will and Hope spend time together revising English, and Hope jokingly compares the dramatic chaos of Will's romantic life to the tragedy of Romeo and Juliet. Will laughs at the comparison, while Eva Price secretly overhears their conversation nearby and is pleased to see the pair bonding so naturally. If Will continues growing closer to Hope, could this finally help him begin moving on from the traumatic hold Megan once had over his life?